friends, welcome to Gyan Gurukul e-classes. So today we will see how with the help of isoquants and Edwards box diagram, how can we derive the production possibility frontier. Okay, how can we derive production possibility frontier in an economy, right? Okay. Now for simplicity, we are talking about an economy where there are only two products produced. Okay, where there are only two products produced. What are the two products? One is product X and the other product is product Y, right? There are only two products. What are the two products? X and Y. Clear? Now while in the production of each of these products, again there are only two commodities used. Okay, not commodities, sorry, there are only two factors of production used. Okay, in the production of both the two commodities X and Y, okay, only two factors of production can be used. What are they? They are that means capital and labor. Okay, so we are basically talking about a simplified economy where there are two products produced. What are they? Product X and product Y, and each of these products are produced with the help of two factors of production. And what are they? They are capital and labor. Okay, they are capital and labor, right? Now here in this Edwards box, we have you know drawn a family of isoquants for both the two products. Okay, the curves A1, A2, A3, A4, A5, A6. Okay, all these isoquants are the isoquant of product X. Okay, they are the isoquant of product X. That means they are denoting various levels of output of product X. That means the level of output A1 of product X is less than the level of output A2. Okay, similarly A2 is less than A3. Okay, that means this curve A6 is showing a very high level of output of product X. Clear? Now from this angle, from left to right, okay, from here to here, sorry, not left to right, from right to left. Okay, in this way we are showing the isoquants of product Y. Okay, we are showing the isoquants of product Y. That means B1 is showing a particular level of output of product Y. Okay, similarly B2 is showing another level of output of product Y, and B2 is greater than B1. Similarly B3 is greater than B2, and in this way B6 is showing a output level which is very high than all the below points. Okay, B1, B3, B2, etc. Right? Okay. Now in our analysis of Edwards diagrams with the help of indifference curve, we have learned that when we move from a point of intersection of both the two isoquants or indifference curve, when we move to a point of tangency, we come to a more better position than an inferior position, right? So say this position. Okay, let me denote this as point E, right? So from point E, if we come to this point, say point Z, or if we come to this point, let me denote it as point F. Okay, if we come from point E to either point F or point Z, that would mean that we have moved from an inferior position to a far better position, right? Why so? Because see, at E we were producing how many amount of commodity Y? We were producing B2 amounts of Y and A4 amount of commodity X. Okay, A4 of X, right? And how much? B2 of Y, right? At point E, right? Now let's move to point Z. Okay, see, at point Z, the isoquant for production of Y is B2. Okay, the isoquant of Y is B2. That means the output of the output of Y at point Z is still B2, right? But if you see, the output of X is A5. Okay, A5, the isoquant is A5. That means at point Z we are producing A5 amount of X and B2 amount of Y, right? And just because A5 is greater than A4 and B2 is still kept at the same level, that means this is a far better position, right? This is obviously a better position because at least one of the commodity is produced at a higher amount than before. Clear? Okay. Now similarly, if we come to point F, then the production of X will remain same, but the production of Y will increase to B3. Okay, that is in another way, there is improvement in the production of y, though the production of x remains same, right? So that is why f is also another, you know, better position than point E. So in this way we can show that all the points where both the isoquants of both the two products tangent to each other, okay, they are tangent to each other, that is they touch each other but not intersect, okay, not the point of intersection but the tangency points. When we join all these tangency points, right, then we got a curve which is called contric curve, right? We have learned this in our previous video of Edgeworth box diagram, okay. You can see in our channel, right? So let's join all these points. Sorry, I'm doing it freehand, so okay. So in this way we can join all these points of tangency, right? We can join all the points of tangency of both the two curves, and we got a curve like this, okay. We got a curve like this, and we call this curve a convex curve, right? We call this curve a convex curve, okay. Now see, all these points are denoting certain amount of capital that and labor that is being used in the production of one commodity, and certain amount of, you know, labor and capital that is being produced in the production of the other commodity, right? Clear? And at the same time they are also showing what, a particular level of output of one product and a particular level of output of other product, okay. Now uh, let's see how from this diagram we can, you know, actually draw a production possibility curve, right? Okay, let me make some space and let us draw a, okay, let me draw the x-axis, right? So now this is the y-axis, okay. It is denoting the product y, okay, it is denoting the product y, and this horizontal axis is denoting the product x. Here, now see, let's take a point here, okay. Let's take point z, right? Point z is showing how many amount of, you know, x is being produced at point z, okay. That is being denoted by the isoquant a5, right? That means that a5 amount of you know, product x has been, you know, produced at point z, and at the same time b2 amounts of y is being produced at point z, okay. How many amount of x? A5 amount of x. And how many amount of y? B2 amount of y, right? Now let's draw here, okay. See, b2 is a lower amount, okay. B2 is a lower amount of y, so let's say this is b2, right? Let's say this is b2, but a5, okay. See, a5 is at a higher level of isoquant, okay. If you compare all these isoquants, a5 is greater than as compared to a4, a3, a2, a1. That means it is denoting a very high level of output, okay. It is denoting a very high level of output. So let's say this is the point a5, this is the point a, no, 5, right? Now joining those 2 points in the curve, we get a point here, okay, right? Let's say this is the point here. Now let's move back to this diagram. Here again we see at this point, okay, at this point how much amount of a is being produced, a4, right? And how much amount of b is being produced, b3, okay. That means we got another combination, that is b3 amount of y and a4 amount of x. Let's move below and draw it here. It says b3, okay, b3 amount, let's say this is b3, so b3 amount of y and a4 amount of x, okay. As because a4 is a lower isoquant than a5, that means a4 represents a less, you know, a lower level of production of x as compared to a5. So clearly it would be towards the left of a5, right? It would be clearly towards the left of a5. Why? Because a4 is representing a lesser output as compared to a5. Here, now joining both the 2 points, we can get, say, okay, this point here, right? This point. Now similarly, let's take this point. Okay, let's take this point. Here you see the production of A is very low. Okay, the production in A is relatively low than before, and it is A2. Okay, just because A2 is lower than, you see, A2 is lower than A5, A4, A3. That means it is at a low level of output. Okay, A2 is a low level of output of production of the commodity X. Clear? But if you see, the isoquant of Y is B5. Okay, B5 is representing at a very high level of isoquant. Okay, B5 is a very high level of isoquant for, product Y, right? See, if you compare it with B1, B2, B3 or B4, you see B5 is greater than all of these isoquants. Okay, that means it is representing a high level of output than these levels, that is B2, B3, B4, right? It must be greater than these particular levels of output of Y. Okay, let's denote it here. Let's say this one is B4, this one is B4, and say this one is B5, right? B5, and here also let's say this one is A3, and let's say this one is A2. Okay, this one is A2. Now joining both the 2 points A2 and B3, we get a point here, right? We get a point here. So in this way, when we join all the points of tangency, okay, when we join all the points of tangency in this, contric curve, okay, all the points of tangency of the two isoquants is, represented by this contric curve. Okay, all the points here, take any point throughout this contric curve, they will represent a certain point of, tangency of a isoquant of X and a isoquant of Y. Okay, so when you join all those points here, when you plot all those points in this graph, okay, you will get such a curve, like say this is the point of, let's say, B6, or and this is, let's say, A6. Okay, now you will get such a, curve when you join all those points, right? Sorry, when you join all these points, you will get a curve which is basically convex, not convex, actually it is concave to the origin. Okay, you would get a curve of this shape. Okay, let me draw in this way. See, you will get a curve like this. Okay, it would get you will get a curve like this, just because I am drawing it freehand, so it is not a perfect concave curve. Okay, but you see, you will get a curve which is concave to the origin, right, in this way. Okay, and this is the curve which we call a production possibility curve. Okay, a production possibility curve that would show you all the combinations of both the two products that the economy could produce. Okay, it would show you all the possible combinations or bundles of both the goods that the economy could produce, which is existing resources, right? Now when you talk about existing resource, you are basically in this case we are talking about only two resources, and what are they? We are talking about only capital and labor, right? So the existing amount of capital and labor in the economy, right, all the existing amount of capital and labor, when we utilize them, then we can produce two commodities X and Y, and in what amount, that is being shown by this curve, that is the production possibility curve, right? We can either produce, you see, B5 amount of Y and A2 amount of X, right? Similarly, we can produce B3 amount of, Y and say A4 amount of X. Clear? So in this way, we can saw that from this diagram, that is the Edgeworth box diagram and a contric curve, with the help of contric curve, we can draw or we can derive this production possibility frontier. Okay, this production possibility frontier. And note one thing, that the slope of the production possibility frontier at any point, okay, it is called the marginal rate of marginal rate of transformation. Okay, it says that at any point, if you draw, okay, the slope of any point in this curve, that is in the production possibility frontier, it is called marginal rate of transformation. Okay, marginal rate of transformation between X and Y. Okay, that means it is showing, in order to produce one extra unit of X, how many amount of Y you have to, given up. Okay, in order to produce an extra amount of X or an extra unit of X, how many unit of production of Y you have to give up, right? Because there is a trade-off, and the trade-off is being denoted by this, negative slope of the curve. Negative slope means that if you increase one, you have to decrease one, right? That is why when you have to increase the production of X by 1 unit, you must have to decrease the production of Y by some unit, and that ratio is called the marginal rate of transformation. Yeah. Okay, now this is all for today's class. And the next class we will see how in an economy equilibrium is achieved from all the points of view, points of view of the producer as well as the points of view of the, you know consumer, right? Now, one request to you: if you guys like our video, then please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel, and also share our videos. And if there are some, you see some faults in our videos, then please feel free to tell us, and tell us in the comment section, right? Thank you.